Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Kings and Priests, Biblical Agreements and Discords. And once again, I'm your host, Minister Ted King. And he,
And I'm King New Shoes Peanut, Haji McGrave, Lewis King. And it's a pleasure to be here. And I was going to open us up in prayer right quick. And it goes like this. After this manner, therefore pray ye, Our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. Amen. Praise Jesus. Praise God. And last week, as far as our Bible study in Acts go, we left off at 23:35. And so we're going to start off now in Acts 24:1. And this is where Paul speaks before Felix. Okay. And 24:1, it says, And after 5 days, Ananias, the high priest, descended with the elders and with a certain orator named Tertullus, who informed the governor against Paul. 2. And when he was called forth, Tertullus began to accuse him, saying, See that by thee we enjoy great quietness, and that very worthy deeds are done unto this nation by thy providence. 3. We accept it always and in all places, most noble Felix, with all thankfulness. 4. Notwithstanding that I be not further tedious unto thee, I pray thee that thou wouldest hear us of thine clemency a few words. 5. And we have found this man a pestilent fellow and a mover of sedition among all the Jews throughout the world, and a ringleader of the sect of the Nazarenes. 6. Who also have gone about to profane the temple whom we took, and would have judged according to our law. 7. But the chief captain, Lysias, came upon us, and with great violence took him away out of our hands. 8. Commanding his accusers to come on to thee, by examining of whom thyself mightest take knowledge of all these things whereof we accuse him. 9. And the Jews also ascended, saying that these things were so. 10. Then Paul, after that the governor had beckoned unto him to speak, answered, Forasmuch as I know that thou hast been of many years a judge unto this nation, I do the more cheerfully answer for myself. 11. Because that thou mightest understand that there are yet but 12 days since I went up to Jerusalem to worship. 12. And they neither found me in the temple disrupting with any man, neither raising up the people, neither in the synagogue, nor in the city. 13. Neither can they prove the things whereof they now accuse me. 14. But this I confess unto thee, that after the way which they call heresy, so worship I the God of my fathers, believing all things which are written in the law and in the prophets. 15. And have hope towards God, which they themselves also allow, that there shall be a resurrection of the dead, both of the just and unjust. 16. And hereby do I exercise myself to have always a conscience void of offense toward God and towards man. 17. Now, after many years, I came to bring alms to my nation and offerings. 18. Whereupon certain Jews from Asia found me purified in the temple, neither with multitude nor with tumult. 19. Who ought to have been here before thee and subject if they had aught against me. 20. Or else let these same hearsay, if they have found any evil doing in me while I stood before the council. 21. Except it be for this one voice that I cried, standing among thee, touching the resurrection of the dead, I am called and questioned by you this day. 22. And when Felix heard these things, having more perfect knowledge of that way, he deferred them and said, when Lysias, the chief captain, shall come down, I will know the uttermost of your matter. 23. And he commanded the centurion to keep Paul and to let him have liberty, and that he should forbid none of his acquaintance to minister or come on to him. 24. And after certain days, when Felix came with his wife Drusilla, which was a Jewess, like Jewish woman, I guess, he sent for Paul and heard him concerning the faith of Christ. 25. And as he reasoned of righteousness, temperance, and judgment to come, Felix trembled and answered, go thy way, for this time, when I have a convenient season, I will call for thee. So he sent him on his way. 26. He hoped also that money should have been given him of Paul, that he might loose him. Wherefore he sent for him the oftener and communed with him. 27. But after 3 years, Porcius Festus came into Felix's room, and Felix, willing to shew the Jews a pleasure, left Paul bound. And that's the reading of 24.
All right. Sounds good. Okay. Well, that's we're more than 3/4 of the way through with Acts, and in this account here, of course, we have Felix is in play, and now we're going to see where getting to the point where they're trying to get Paul. Okay, and
yes, they are.
Been leading up to this, so that's where we're starting to see the plot to get Paul out of the way. So that's where we're at with the reading. So we're getting, this is like when we talk about the Acts, of course, the Acts essentially is the beginning of Christianity and how it began to spread throughout the world and the nations, and where Apostle Paul was able to, well, they recorded his influence over the readings in the Bible. And so in the New Testament, there's a lot of letters by Paul, and not necessarily uh, in all Bible writings, where they you
Mm-hmm.
find the writings of Paul. In the Western, the Western Bible, which is prevalent in this country, you will see a lot of the Apostle Paul writing in his letters, according
Mm-hmm.
to what he was introducing to the churches. And so, yeah, that's what's going on with that. And so, but the whole thing is about Christianity. The whole thing is about what we're going to do toward Christianity. And here's another thing that's most important, and the reason why we're all going to read the scriptures, because we're going to talk further about what's happening in the world today as we go into these scriptures, because it's very important that we understand. Okay, we got scripture and we have life events. Okay, and in this country, uh, we have several people who uh, say that they read these scriptures and implement it in a way where you like pause and think, well, that was, this is the action in which we should be taking according to the Bible, and that's not according to how things are supposed to be according to the Bible. But just to be clear, we want to make sure that people understand what that we are reading the Bible. We do read the Bible. You know what the Bible says before we get on to other scriptures. Uh, so yeah, so what do you have there? You have anything to add to that, sir?
No, I'm just saying. Well, I mean, Paul is somebody he was heavily persecuted. Just like I have a little reading here about Paul in my
Sure.
lexicon, and it says Paul, Paulos, the great apostle to the Gentiles. His name was Saul before he became a follower of Jesus. Paul means little one. Paul was born of Jewish parents who were Roman citizens in Tarsus.
Right.
And it says, in the city of Sicily. He was born of the tribe of Benjamin and was from the beginning a child of the law. He was circumcised on the 8th day and later was taught the Jewish law at the feet of Gamaliel, the great doctor of the law of Moses. He had a fine background in Hellenism. He spoke vernacular Greek and was acquainted with the Greek poets. After the Christian movement was underway, he was he strongly opposed it, consenting to the stoning of Stephen and seeking out Christians to bring them into judgment seat. After his conversion in about 34 AD, he began preaching Christ. He began a series of 3 missionary journeys about 47 AD. He visited Jerusalem to discuss the Jewish Gentile question about 49 AD and wrote his first letter, First Thessalonians, around this date also. He came to Jerusalem around 57 AD, was taken captive, spent about 2 years as a prisoner in Caesarea, and then in Rome around 61 AD. He wrote several of his 13 letters while in Rome. He was released from Rome, preached for a period, and then taken prisoner again. It is believed that he was beheaded around 64 or 67 AD in Rome.
Yep.
So that's kind of like the definition of what they have as far as what was going on with Saul, who was named Paul. And so right now where we're reading at, I believe we're reading to where he's like been, taken prisoner in Caesarea and then in Rome around 61 AD. Okay, so this is when he's starting to write his 13 letters while in Rome. Okay, he's not in Rome yet, but you know what I'm saying, he'll be there shortly. And I mean, it's a pretty awesome story because it really tells of how somebody's belief in their heart, okay, somebody's belief in their heart can change the direction of the things that they're doing and their behavior patterns. Okay, now here it is. He was somebody that crucified, or should I say, not crucified, but slain believers in Jesus. He would kill them. Okay, and then here it is. After he was blinded on the road to Damascus, he became somebody that spoke and preached Jesus vehemently all over the place, even incarcerated. Okay, now that to me is a real transformation in a person. Okay, that's transformation, like, you know what I'm saying, ones don't see very often. Okay, that's really something.
Right. Yeah. Right. Well, of course, he was met on the road by
By Jesus.
exactly, and so that's is enough to make a eye awakening moment. It makes you think, okay, and pause as to what it is that you're doing, and if there's a higher uh, power that can question your actions, and that's what happened. Even all the way up to where he, of course, converted from Saul to Paul, and as you have stated, what Paul means, smaller, smaller than, small one. And so, yeah, he's humbled himself to move toward preaching and teaching what the Jesus had preached and taught, and in fact, receiving some powers in like manner as Jesus. So yeah. So that's what we got there on that one, and then, yeah, now we're gonna uh, go ahead and yeah, we have a guest here. Uh, she should be coming. I believe we have Nicole here with us today as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so when she comes back, we'll introduce her into our topic as well. And so yeah, but we got oh, here we go. Here we go. We got it here now. Nicole, how you doing? Can you hear us?
I'm good, guys. How are you?
Hello.
Oh, we're
I'm all
doing
right.
very good, very good, very good. Yeah, we just finished our reading on in chapter 24, and then we're going to go into our next topic because today is Father's Day. So we want to talk about Father's Day for a moment
Hey,
before we.
hey.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah,
you.
thank you. Yeah.
Thank you very
Father's Day,
much.
man. Yeah, Father's Day is the day, and so I'm going to either King Nucifina can read it, or I'll read it. We're going to read what it says in Matthew 23:9.
Matthew's 23:9.
Yeah, Matthew 23:9.
Uh,
Because
Give me
today
just
is
one
Father's
second.
Day, so we have to be clear as to who it is that we're talking about worshiping on this particular day. So go ahead, sir. So you're going to read from the
Okay,
scripture.
what it says here in Matthew's 23:9, it says, "And call no man your father upon the earth, for one is your Father which is in heaven." That's what it
Right.
says.
That's what it says. Yeah. So it says, although one Father on earth, there's only one that is
Mm-hmm.
your Father. That's the person who is in heaven. So even though we're celebrating Father's Day in terms of fathers, but the Bible is clear as to who the Father is that we should be worshiping. I just wanted to put that out there because I don't want to appear to be that we don't read the book. We do read the book. That's what the most important thing is about. We do read the book. We understand what the book says before we go into our topics. And so this is the day, Father's Day. So we want to wish all those that adhere to the Most High Father, and of course emulate His actions as they take care of their children. So yeah, I would say that. And so yeah, it is going to be a good Father's Day for all those who understand what this day is about. Yeah. So yeah, anybody want to have anything to say about Father's Day, or we're just going to go on to the next topic? Because the next topic is going to be kind of an interesting one. We're getting to the and we have our I would like to call our relationship expert, Nicole. Uh, so how's things going, Nicole? We haven't seen you since last week, and so we anything new coming up, as far as what you're doing, what you got going on, or you just enjoying life.
Enjoying life.
Okay, there you go. Perfect. That's what we want, right? We want to always enjoy life. So let me go ahead and start talking about this. So we're going to be talking about um, uh, life, and of course today is Father's Day. So this this
Mhm.
is this is Father's Day, and we have several people who are enjoying today. In fact, I'll be after the show is over, we're going to some family members to sit down and break bread with them and enjoy the rest of this day. Um,
Oh,
but
nice.
uh, yeah, it's gonna be a good thing. Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. It's gonna be a good day today. Every day, for me, in my opinion, every day should be a celebration. What do you think? What's your opinion on that? Anybody?
Uh,
Well,
should be a celebration, but every day ain't a celebration.
Okay, okay, okay. All right, all right. Well, I I try and celebrate every single day because even though there's challenges, we all have challenges, right? We have challenges, and
Right.
yeah, so when those challenges come, we have to even deal with those challenges, and oftentimes those challenges impede us with our the joy that we have for life. People have a bill, they're like, oh
Right.
no, this bill is coming up, I can't pay it. What am I gonna do? If I don't pay it, somebody gonna be knocking on my door or calling me up, hey look, we need our money, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And that has a lot to do with the stress in life. But we talked about that a couple of weeks ago when it
Right.
came down to the money. And so yeah, and so all these things have a factor in the
Mm-hmm.
relationships in which we have, and
Mm-hmm.
oftentimes it spills over into our relationship with significant others. And so that's the reason why we're going to be we're going to talk about this. We're going to talk about this for for a moment. Um, and if the topic gets more interesting, we're going to keep talking. For it depends on until we come up with uh, some good points, talking points. So I wanted to say this, all right? Um, there is a scripture. Actually, it's in Ephesians 20. Ephesians 5:22 to 33. And before we get there, I want to go to this quick, quick uh, understanding of what this woman is talking about. And then we're gonna talk about that. So here we go.
God made Adam a suitable helpmate. And he made that helpmate not because she's weaker, but because God has given men a capacity and a responsibility that women do not have. And we have to be honest about it. We can say he's not a man, he doesn't know how to lead, he doesn't whatever. There's still a capacity inside of him that God did not give us as women. And one of the biggest examples that I can give of that, imagine it's raining and you're in New York City. And if you've ever been to New York City or in France and it starts raining and people start selling umbrellas on the street, those $5, $10 umbrellas, they're not worth much, but they get the job done until you get home. Imagine you have that man. You have the man that gets the job done, isn't anything special, but he gets the job done. That man, no matter how little you view him, is made to handle the rain. You were not made to handle the rain. but you were made to hold up that which can handle the rain. If you didn't have that umbrella, you would come back home smelling like what you were poured on. What poured on you? When a man comes back in as that umbrella, he gets dried quickly, water repellent, it falls off of him, and no matter how equipped you thought he still was built for the rain. The difference also, some of you want that Neiman Marcus umbrella. Some of you want the wood handle. Those things are heavy. And if God gave you a man like that, then you have to be the woman that can hold up that man. Because an umbrella that is not used, it can be for the rain, for the sun, it shields, it provides shade, it allows what's under it not to be touched. We are the vessel, not weaker. We are the vessel that was meant to let the one that God gave us be held up and used for what he was made. So now, as a wife, I want to say, I don't want to get wet. I don't want to sunburn. My skin's not built for that. So instead, I'm going to let the man be who he was meant to be. And if God gave me, which he did, my man's about as heavy as this table. That means God made me capable of holding him up. If my man is not doing what he was made to do, it's because I, as his wife, am not holding him up. One thing I will credit myself to is that man can come and do what God has him to do, because on the back end, he is being held up and held down. Not about me, but to say this about submission. If you think submission is because the man is doing what you believe is right for a man to do, then you've missed your assignment before God. God will bless your obedience as being a wife. The Bible's full of it. Ephesians and Corinthians in the Old Testament. Just start looking for them. And please read Love and Respect. It will change your life. Submission does not make you a weaker vessel. It just makes you the part of the machine that is needed to function, but entrusting somebody else's responsibility that's what they were made for, to do what God has made them to do. So I value submission. Submit one to another is not in the same way. He is not going to submit to me the way I'm going to submit to him. That's not even biblical. As he submits to Christ, so I submit to him who has submitted to Christ. If God has made the man the head of the house to love his wife as he is to love the church, God is going to hold him to a standard. God is also going to hold you to a standard. And it's not going to be dependent on, did you value him, or did you do right by him because he did right by you, or you did right by him because you did right by what God commanded you to do. You will see a dynamic transformation inside of your home when you begin to obey his word. Submission is our safety as wives. Submission is your safety as a wife. Whether you have, because I want to believe if you married him, he has good intentions. Even if he doesn't have, or if you're with him, or if you love him, it's because you believe that's a good person, even if they don't have it together yet. Keep trusting God, but allow your heart to not be tainted if he's doing right by you. God will make him do right by you. God knows how to reach the man that he gave you so that you don't suffer and cry, so your child doesn't suffer and cry, and so you don't live in a house that is just like what you've always seen. You will be the chain breaker of marriages and relationships and love in this life if you just do it God's way.
Amen.
Amen.
All right. So, do we have any comments about that? What she just said.
Well, I have a comment about that.
Yeah.
Okay. What I think is that God, like you said, God provided man almost just like if you're in a rainstorm someplace and somebody's selling a umbrella. Okay. But see, just like man can't take you into eternal life, God can take you into eternal life. Man can't take you into eternal life. So like she says, that she uses that umbrella to keep her from getting wet or, you know what I'm saying, to keep shade on her from too much sunlight. But then after that, she makes it to the house and, you know what I'm saying, she puts the umbrella away. Now, in my opinion, I mean, that's I mean, that's about the extent of it. I mean, I don't think that man is a permanent solution. Okay, I think God is a permanent solution, and man is just a temporary solution. You know what I'm saying, to get her through that little rainstorm to where she gets to the house, and then she could do other things. I mean, that's my impression. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I believe that God can take you to eternal life, and man cannot take you to eternal life, no
Well,
matter how
well,
much you
she's
have
not
faith and
talking about.
trust. It'll
She
never happen.
wasn't necessarily talking about eternal life as much as she was talking about submission, right?
Well,
Her topic was about submission,
well,
and the submission that she wanted to, the example of the submission is that it sounded to me like she was saying we have roles. His submission not the same as her submission, and she was saying that her submission looked different than his, and she also said that she was going to hold him up, so that he can do what he's designed to do as a man, and she was going to submit to that. That's basically what I thought I heard her say.
okay.
Not necessarily anything about uh, eternal life, but it all leads to that in a way to where a better life. So that was what she was talking about, and so from the perspective of what she was saying as a woman, that she thinks submission is godlike. That's what she was saying. Getting closer to God. I
Okay.
mean, that's basically what I heard. And I mean, of course, I'll oftentimes examine this current state of affairs when it comes to women, when they have their independence, generally correlates with them having a job. So I say to people all the time, I say, well, you got a woman, she got a job, that's her husband. She said, don't go. Listen, I want you to stay home. She gonna say, look, I got to go to work. I got my job. Said I got to be at a certain time, and so I'm gonna go to work. So that's part of it, as far as her being, I guess, independent. But this is not the same as being submissive. This is what she's talking about. She's not saying she's independent. She says she's a submitter. She submits to a person who's going to hold her. She's going to hold up what holds her up. In other words, if she holds him
So
up.
do you think? I didn't know if you guys could hear me.
No, we didn't hear what you said, but go ahead.
A woman with a job cannot miss it.
Okay, so woman,
Woman.
right, working woman can be submissive if she puts priority over her job. In other words, like for example, if she says, okay, you know what, if I go to work and someone calls me up and says, look, I need you home, I need you here. She says I gotta go to who I'm working for, and I have to leave because I have to go home. Then she's not being submissive to her job. She's not being submissive to her, she's being submissive to her husband and not submissive to her job. If she can work and be submissive at the same time, yes, she can. If she puts certain things in, if she prioritizes, she prioritizes because these days that it might take 2, 3, 4 types of streams of income for to sustain a household, depending on where you're living and how you're living. So these are all
Not
factors.
even depending on how you living. It's almost you either living on the streets or you gonna have to have a couple jobs to keep a roof over your head.
Yeah, it's the same thing as
Practically
yeah,
everywhere.
you're right. But that's what I mean by multiple streams of income. If you have that, I mean, a
Yeah.
lot of people, there's a whole lot of things that play into this dynamic of co submission. What he's supposed to submit to versus what she's supposed to submit to, and this. For example, there was talks. There was a couple of gentlemen talking about them. If a woman submits to them, then they keep her. In other words, if she submits as a woman and they do things like what people do, then her submission, they keep her. They don't get rid of her. In other words, if she says, for example, there's a situation where they become interested in one another, and she says, before the intimate actions happen, you have to keep me, and he says, yes, I will. Then that's what happens. In other words, people get together. A lot of people get together generally. They get together and they engage in sex, right? And then they go on their way. Okay. She goes her way, he goes his way. If that's the arrangement, then that's fine. That's the arrangement. They get together and they're gonna go. She gonna go her way, and he gonna go hers. But if she says, "I'm about to submit to you, but I need a commitment," and he says, "Sure, I'm gonna commit to you," and they engage in that act, and then he turns around and says, "I changed my mind." Well, he breached the agreement, right? Yeah. And in other words, I mean, I've heard of people say. A woman says, we're not having sex, unless you're going to commit to me. And if the person says, no, well, I'm not going to commit, you commit how? Like, for example, she says, I want to get married to you, married, and I need you to commit to me. And he says, no. Then, she says, well, we ain't having sex. He said, well, no, we're not having sex because I'm not committing to you like that. Then that's the arrangement that they make, right? So, I know for a fact, that they're people who are starting to do this, starting to say,
so what do you
we're not
mean?
going to.
These are the. What do you mean by
Say
that?
again?
When you say this is the agreement that they made?
Well, what I mean by that is that they have talked as adults, said that. For example, when I say make an agreement, they're either going to say either we're committing or we're not. Okay. For example, if a person says,
you know that most people don't have that conversation though.
Most people don't, right? Most people don't. But let's say, for example, most people don't. But let's say, for example, most people don't read the Bible. But let's say most people do read the Bible.
Okay.
They read the Bible and they know exactly what it says and what it means. They know exactly what the Bible says and know exactly what the Bible means. And they say, okay, the Bible says, okay, underneath the covenant of us being intimate, that you're going to keep me and I'm going to keep you. And that person says, yeah, I know that's what the Bible, the book says. And they say, well, I agree with that. Or they say, I don't agree with that. Because if every person read the book and knew that there is a covenant that goes along with that, and then they say, there's a commitment. If I'm gonna submit to you, you have to be committed. And that person says, okay, then that's kind of like saying, okay, I'm taking care of you, and you're gonna take care of me. I mean, that's if they say it, right? If they understood what the book said. The two people are reading the book, like for example, you got some people who are organized biblically organized. They go to church every Sunday and they study the Bible all during the week, and then they may have another Bible study meeting on Wednesdays, and they come together and they say, okay, they're agreeing that based on what the book says, that we are going to engage in a committed relationship. Right, and that commitment is, we're going to commit to us being together. Now, that person, the man, his role is to make sure that he'll be that umbrella in which she was talking about. She'll be that umbrella, and then of course her agreement is I'm gonna hold you up. That's what I'm gonna do. Make sure things are as comfortable for you as possible. That's my job. Your job is to be a cover, and my job is to prop you up so you can continue to do so. And that's what the agreement would be. Like when a person says, okay, we'll be together today, but we might not be together tomorrow, and that's that, this, that, and the other. And another thing, right? Let's say, for example, you got
Another
a person.
thing, no,
Go ahead. Yeah, another thing.
you didn't let nobody.
Well, I am. I'm gonna let you go ahead. Matter of
Well,
fact, now you go ahead and start talking now.
well, yeah, I just wanted to jump in because a big part of the problem is that, like you said, nobody reads the Bible. So, and including myself. So what you just said was in the Bible, I never heard of before, right? So,
Okay.
so that's the thing. Nobody reads the Bible, so they don't know what's in it to follow. So when you say like what lady said, the man's supposed to follow God, and then the woman's supposed to follow him, or the man submits to God, and then the woman submits to him. Know what that means? It's just a bunch of words, because what does submission mean? What does the man do to submit to God? What does the woman do to submit to the man? Like, nobody knows what these words mean, and they think they're doing it already.
Could I say
Okay.
something? Okay, let me read Ephesians 6, because it kind of explains what you're talking
Not
about.
six. Not six. Not six. Not in six. If you're in five,
Okay, let
it'd
me
be
read
five.
Ephesians 5 then, okay? Now, this is what it
Yeah.
says. It
But don't read the
says,
whole. Don't read the whole thing, because if you read the whole thing, you're gonna the part that in which
Break
we're
it down.
talking about. You'll find in Ephesians 5:22 through 33. Now, if you read through that, then we're touching on the topic.
okay, here it is. It says, husbands, love your wives, even as Christ also loved the church and gave himself for it.
Okay, now hold on
26.
right there. Hold on right there. Now I want you to hold on for a second. It says what Christ did and who Christ did it for. Okay, yeah. Okay, so go ahead, keep
Say
going.
it again.
Okay,
Okay, let me read that again. It
read
says,
it again.
husbands, love your wives, even as Christ also loved the church and gave himself for it. That's 25. 26 is that he might sanctify and cleanse it with the washing of water by the word.
Okay, now
27.
Hold on a second. Now, remember, she was talking about the umbrella and the water, right? And the
Mm-hmm.
whatever kind of water she got watered with is basically what she had on her. So in other words, washing and cleansing with the word. But go ahead.
27. That he might present it to himself a glorious church, not having spot or wrinkle or any such thing, but that it should be holy and without blemish. 28.
Hold on again. Now, see, in conversation, I've heard you say, King Priest
Uh-huh.
Christina, that your woman's gonna be younger. When a woman's with you, she gets younger. Well, that's how women gets younger. That right there is how a woman continues to have her youthfulness and appearance for a very, very, very long time. So go ahead.
Okay. And here it is, 28.
I didn't hear.
So
She got younger.
I men
Read
to
it again. I think she wants to read it.
okay,
So read it.
27. That he might present it to himself a glorious church, not having spot or wrinkle or any such thing, but that it should be holy and without blemish. Okay. Now
Yeah.
that's 27. 28. So ought men to love their wives as their own bodies. He that loveth his wife loveth himself. 29. For no man ever yet hated his own flesh, but nourisheth and cherishes it, even as the Lord the church. 30. For we are members of his body, of his flesh, and of his bones. 31. For this cause shall a man leave his father and mother, and shall be joined unto his wife, and they two shall be one flesh. 32. This is a great mystery, but I speak concerning Christ and the church. 33. Nevertheless, let every one of you in particular so love his wife, even as himself, and his wife see that she reverence her husband. So that's what it says. Now, here it is. Me, I'm like this. I'm like, yeah, I've said that the women in my life, okay, the women in my life that's been in my life, they stayed young looking, and they have, okay. Now, I haven't been in a relationship in years, okay, but I mean, it's just, to me, it's just a blessing from God. I mean, just like Dee Dee, she stayed young looking when she was with me. You know what I'm saying? All the women that
let me ask you this question. Was she young? Because
yeah, she was young.
Well, okay.
She was young.
She was young.
She was young. She was young. But I mean, after she wasn't with me, things changed. But you have to understand that, just like here it is, I was involved with this Caucasian woman, right? For many years that nobody hardly knew about. Did she stay young looking? Yes. She died in 2016. But she stayed young looking all the way and healthy all the way up until she died. Okay, she died in a bombing accident, you know what I'm saying, because she was into mischievous, you know what I'm saying, assassinations and stuff like that. But anyways, she stayed young looking, and she was older than me. Okay, but now, and she told me, she says, I think you have a gift. She told me, she says, I think you have a gift. I said, what's that? She says, you know, you're the reason that I stay young looking and healthy. I says, you think so? She says, I know so. I'm sure of it. I says, okay, well, thank you. That's a good compliment. I like that. But you have to understand that, you know, it takes a woman to dedicate herself, see what I'm saying, to somebody that's worthy to be dedicated to. So it takes a woman. She's just like, with most women, they say, I'm going to be with this guy. You know what I'm saying? They used to call it ride or die. I'm going to be with this individual, ride or die. That's just the way it's going to be. And I'm not going to turn to the left or to the right. That's the way it is. But I mean, I haven't had that in my relationships. Okay. It hasn't been in my relationships, but I've seen them dedicate themselves to other people. And I say, well, you should ask them, you know what I'm saying, as years go by, did they give up their youth and their health to men, or did they give up their youth and their health to Peanut, to me? Now, most of them will say they gave it up to me.
Hold on. What does that got to do with you? I don't understand what they're saying. We talking about your personal relationship?
Well, you had asked me what the ladies that have been in my life, so I was just kind of like, chiming in on that. But I mean, that's just the way it is. I mean, with me, I mean, I'm somebody that I grab life every day as a luxury. I think that for me, life is a luxury. Okay, and me, do I enjoy it every day? If I think about it, yes, because the only way that I'm going to get to eternal life is life living it one day after the other. One day, then the next, then the next, then the next. Other than that, I'm not going to get a forever life. You know, here it is. My computer is messing up. I don't know why. I'm going to have to take it to the shop tomorrow. Okay. Is it messing up? Huh?
What did you say, Nicole? Life look like?
Well, to tell you the truth, for me, it looks pretty good. Now, here it is. Right now, I understand what you said.
Let me picture.
What did you say, Nicole?
Paint the picture for me.
Okay. Now, here it is. Here it is, right? I'm 68 years old. Okay. Can you hear me okay? Can you guys hear me? Hello? Okay. Yeah, I'm 68 years old right now, okay? Now, most of my life, I've lived in Sacramento, California, and going through trials and tribulations almost incessantly, okay? I had some fun and sometimes, but most of the time but now I'm 68 years old. Okay. And I kind of see what life is kind of more about now that I'm 68. When I was younger, did I really see what life was about? And to be honest with you, it takes damn near 60 years of living to really figure out kind of what life is about. Okay. But some people say, well, after 60, then that's when you start dying. That's how come I'm quite sure that I have a forever, because I'm just now starting to figure out and starting to step into parts of life that are going forward. See what I'm saying? Because for like a lot of time when I was in Sacramento, trials and tribulations. So for me, I don't think that money is what a lot of people make it out to be. I think money is a tool. A lot of people is like, without money, life is miserable. I believe that money is a tool and that life is still worthwhile, even if you don't have a lot of money. If God gives you the necessities to live a life that's comfortable. Now, me, I don't trust men that much because just like I have memories of doing.
Let's get to the part about that forever part.
Yeah.
Because
She's asking. Didn't you ask me, Nicole, to kind of show you a picture, give you a picture of how it is? So that's what I'm trying to do. Now,
we get that part. But the part.
But
okay,
now,
let's real quick. I'm gonna just real quick. And let's say I answer the question: what is life? Forever? Okay. Now, yes, there is certain things as far as stress levels that cause you to be stressed, to be able to overstress. But let's say, for example, you are not entertaining the thoughts of living a stressful life. Then, of course, we are people who consume things. So any and everything that we consume has an effect on our mental and physical abilities to function in a stressless type of life, right? I mean, this is how it goes, right? Your health has a direct correlation on how you navigate. I'm assuming what you're talking about forever. Okay. Yeah, I mean to me that's unless you decide that you're forever means spiritual. Okay, that's fine. But if you're talking about in the physical, then there are certain things that, like I give you an example.
Wait, you mean in the physical, Peanut? Your forever life is you gonna be alive
in the
forever?
physical and the physical and the spiritual, in physical and spiritual. But you have to understand that's how come, like Ted says, well, every day is a happy every day. See, just like, and the thing about life is every day, one day follows the next. So I try to make the most of every day that I live. Okay. Now, me,
But my
I mean,
question is, in your eternal life or in your forever life, would you want every day? Okay, you 68, right? Would you want
yeah,
another 68 years? Let's say, would you want to live another 68 years? Let's say if your next 68 years looks the same as your last year has looked, the last year of your life, the next 68 looks like that.
if
Is
the
that a
next
good
68,
forever?
if the next 68 looks like the last year of my life, I would say I would just have to
Yeah.
deal with it as best I could. Okay. But I don't really think that the next 68 years of my life is going to look
And
like that because it's improving. It's improving as I go along. See what I'm saying? I mean, there's improvements that's happening in my life every day. Okay. I've improved in some ways. Like some people say, well, my health got worse. Did my health get worse over the last year? No, my health didn't get worse over the last year. Okay. My health
did
has
your health
gotten
get
to
better?
huh?
Did it get better?
Yeah, it got better. Yeah, it got better. Okay. But now here it
Okay,
is.
but
You have to understand.
Well, I was gonna say
Huh?
you don't sound positive. Like if your next 68 years look like your last year, you said you're gonna make the best of it that you can. That's not a positive. That's like a person being in jail making the best of it that they can. Like your forever life, what is it about? What do you want it for? It should be something exciting, don't you think?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
this year, I
See,
don't
okay. Let me give you an example. Let me give you an example. Okay.
okay.
Let me give you an example. Okay. In 2017, I had my legs amputated, my feet amputated, right? Now, from 2017, for 7 years, I was in a wheelchair. And a lot of that time I was either homeless on the street or I was in jail. Okay. So now I got out 7 years. I got some prosthetics. So now I'm walking around like the average person. Okay. Driving a car, going places. Now here it is. The restrictions that they put on me from jail, they're fixing to close. They're fixing to go away. So just like now I'm venturing out, trying to increase my ability to be employable on a specific trade that I have, which deals with geothermal high voltage electricity. Now, as I'm doing that, I'm also writing a book. Now I have a memory of playing. I have a memory of playing professional sports. So if any of those things align themselves, which some of them have started to do, then I'm going to have a lot more money. But money is not the main thing. You see what I'm saying? I mean, me being able to get up and walk around on prosthetics, that there was a big leap from being in a wheelchair for 7 or 8 years. Okay. So that was an improvement. I'm still vibrant. Okay. I mean, do I think I'm attractive to women? I know I am. Okay. I know I'm attractive to women, but at this time in my life, I'm trying to get certain things, get over certain hurdles, like probably, let's say, professional sports, to find out the truth about that. Okay, to do some things with high voltage electricity so that I'll know that I'll be able to have some currency from that. And I'm going in the right direction, okay? Just like I'm talking to this woman named Miss Jenny Willis and some other people that have to do with geothermal electricity and stuff like that. And we're getting it to where I'm going in the right direction. See, I have ability to get money. Money is a tool, okay? We all have an ability to get money. God gave us that ability, okay? But what we do with it is what makes the difference. So my forever is looking promising, Nicole. Thank you for asking. I mean, okay. So I don't know if we're going until 3:30 or if we're going into, huh?
Oh, go ahead. No, go ahead.
I don't know if we're going until 3:30 or if we're going until 3 o'clock. So I don't want to take up too much time.
Well, it doesn't matter. When we can keep going, but the point is that, for example, I don't know if you actually give a definition of a forever that people can grasp a hold to, that's listening to your conversation. Like, for example, if someone was to ask me, well, Ted, what do you think I should do to improve my health? Or, both my mental and my physical. I would say, well, you need to make sure that you stay calm and and be happy with everything that you have, everything that you get, and try to improve that every single day. And so, I would first try to stay stressless as much as possible and don't worry about anything. And after that, work on your physical. And our immune system, is our immune system is primarily in our gut. So uh, I would tell people, listen, first of all, you need to work on your health. You first start working on your gut immunity. And be honest with you, I would tell them first, if you really wanted to do that, uh, it seems simple, but it's what I would tell them: get some ginger powder, and make sure you consume some ginger powder every single day, because that helps you with your gut, and then go from there. And that's basically what you know. Well, there's more to it than just that, but that's will help people if people like ginger for whatever reason. They have ginger tea
Well, I
or
want to go
ginger.
back to the video you played in that conversation.
Well, here you go. That's a good one. Now we can talk about that with this, which is submission, right? Yeah, which is what
That's
basically
just
it comes. It considered submission, and that in which here's we all submit to something. and we all have been submissive to, coming up. We were reared by people older than us that told us what to do, and we were submitted to their directives. And when we get a little older, of course, we start becoming, we have our own mind, and of course, we become independent, and then we implement what we think is our best uh, opportunities to live life as we choose. So, I think that a person, for example, if you're going to be submissive, let's say, for example, if you're a woman, and I'm not, but if you're a woman and you decide that you're going to submit to a man, then you need to trust that individual. You're man, like for example, there was a good video. I thought it was a fantastic video, and it didn't have it was kind of sort of, it had to do with submission, being submissive, but it had to do with a directive, right? You had to follow a direction. They give you a direction and make you follow, and then you're supposed to follow the direction. And that direction helped you survive. And I'm going to play the video. I'm going to try and let me see if I can get this video. Hold on a second. I'm going to try to get this video up here real quick so you can see what the video is about. The way they did the video was very interesting because basically in this particular video, it had to do with a father, okay? And the father, the way the video went, it goes where the father is, they went to some camp of some sort. Okay, so let me go ahead and play the video so you can see what this is about here. Here we go.
But one day they took the dads and the
Turns out hollow blocks can be used like this. First, carefully level and compact the ground. Add a layer of gravel for extra stability. Then apply adhesive on each block and stack another hollow block tightly on top. Use wooden strips through the holes to firmly lock them together. Paint each block black for a clean, modern, and stylish look. Now, turns out hollow blocks can be used like this. First, carefully level and compact the ground. Add a layer of gravel for
Okay, hold on a second. That's not it. Let me get it again. It was there, but as it turned out, well, I'll get it real quick here. Hold on a second here.
Do you feel like women don't submit to their husbands?
Yeah. So you asked me that question? Yeah.
Yeah.
What was the question?
I said,
Do you feel that women do not submit?
Do I feel that the women do not submit? I don't necessarily say that. I don't necessarily feel that women don't submit. I don't believe that they may be submitting to the individuals that position themselves as a person that they want to submit to. Now that might be the case more so than them not wanting to submit. I believe that's what their DNA is made up of. Is for them to actually submit, and they don't get the right direction. In other words, well, let's watch this. This is a good example. What I'm talking about. This is a very good example. Here we go. Let's watch this.
If you're watching this video right now, then something deep inside of you is searching. And you want to know, what does it really take to get to heaven? Maybe you just said, listen to this.
That might be a good one.
But one day
That might be a good one, but that's not the one.
they took the dads and the daughters deep into the woods, and we were going to do this exercise, and they blindfolded the daughters, and then they told the dads, all right, you're going to go and guide your daughter blindfolded through the woods. They said, now you're going to give your daughter 3 instructions and repeat them as many times as you can before the walk begins. And the instructions were, I will never leave you. You can ask me anything, and you should only listen for the sound of my voice. And I would make her repeat those back to me. And I said, are we good? She said, I'm good. And then we were instructed to begin our hike through the woods. And it was easy to guide her in the beginning because I could have a hand on her shoulder and we could walk and talk with each other. And I'd say, okay, there's a rock coming up, turn to your right, this kind of thing. And then with a silent signal from a camp counselor, they would tell me I had to remove my hand. And I could only guide her with the sound of my voice. And it got a little more challenging to navigate the path. Then with another silent signal from the camp counselor, I could no longer speak unless she remembered the instructions that she could ask me anything. So as you can imagine, we started to get off track in our hike. It's becoming more and more challenging. Counselor comes up as like a voice of deception, and my daughter's feeling lost and wondering where I am because she's not hearing my voice and she's not remembering to ask me any questions. Counselor comes up and says, hey, Lulu, it looks like you've gotten separated from your dad in the group. And she said, yeah, I'm not sure where he is. And she said, well, how about you follow me and I'll get you caught up with the group. And of course, as a dad, I'm overanalyzing my entire job as a parent, praying that she says, no, I'm only supposed to follow my dad. And then all of a sudden I heard, okay. She follows the camp counselor. Well, what does the counselor do? Doesn't catch her up with the group. The counselor walks her into a ditch and she doesn't realize it, but she's blindfolded in a ditch standing in front of a tree. And I'm standing there helpless, waiting and hoping that she remembers the instructions. After several minutes, I'm just standing there. The counselor comes over to Lulu and says, hey, Lulu, I don't think you're where you're supposed to be. Do you? She said, no. The voices had all quieted. The group had gone away. And she said, well, do you remember the instructions that you were given? She's like, I think so. And she thought for a couple minutes, and I'm standing there waiting. And all of a sudden I hear 4 words, Dad, are you there? And I stood there in the woods just crying. And I'm like, yeah, I'm here. And she said, can you help me? And I said, yeah. And we got back on track and we walked back and we had this incredible moment. I thought about those 3 instructions and how many times I've forgotten them in my life, that he will never leave me. I can ask him anything and I should only listen to the sound of his voice. Coming back to those 3 principles and remembering that I have a God who's always with me, that he loves to hear the sound of his children's voice, and that he is the only source of strength and guidance in my life that I should really trust.
Okay, so that's
I like that.
Basically how things should be set up. For example, between individuals that people trust, right? They say, I trust you. You're gonna, I'm gonna listen to you. I'm gonna, the sound of my voice. But he used that with the instruction that the camp leader and his daughter was supposed to remember that. And then of course she forgot. And she listened to the camp leader instead of listening. She didn't even ask say anything to she could say anything. She could ask anything she wants. She didn't ask anything she wanted. And so he didn't when she finally did, she asked him if he was still there. He said, yeah, I'm still here. And then of course that's a trust factor. So when people have trust, they start gaining trust, then they submit to the fact that they do have that trust with one another. I submit because I know I trust you. So that's the key. That's the key right there. Now, if you trust an individual that you know nothing's going to happen to you, you're going to go ahead and say, okay, I'm submitting because I know it's going to work out. But when you like, I'm not sure if this is going to work out or not. So if you have a person can't drive a car, and you jump in the car and let them drive you, you'd be like saying, I'm not sure we're gonna make it because this person cannot drive. What if this person can't even see? So these are the things that would prompt the person not to submit for their own survival. But when they feel like, hey, look, we're gonna be cool, it's gonna work out, it's gonna be a great experience, I'm not tripping, let's go. And that's the key right there. You see? So, that's just common sense, and it's amazing how people will think a person has fallen off. And I'm like, I tell people, don't ever think a person has fallen off if they're not, if they're taking care of themselves. If they're not asking you for anything and they're taking care of themselves, and they seem to be the same individual, then you can assume that they haven't where's the slippage. But because the person seems like they don't have money, it's like, oh, it fell off. No, you can't go by that because you don't know what the individual got, what he don't got. And I personally think that people shouldn't tell people about what they have or what they don't have, right? Because you never know how you don't know how people feel about you until it seems like, oh, they ain't doing too good. I mean, that's how it works. You don't like you're doing too good. That's when you know how people feel about you. So it's amazing how things play itself out. But when it comes to, let's say, for example, a man and a woman, 9 times out of 10 women want to submit to that strong man. That's what we want to do. 9 times out of 10.
You say 9 times out of 10 they will submit?
Nine women out of 10 want to submit to a strong man. Yes, want to submit to him. Yeah, that's what 9 out of 10. Might find that one that said, "No, I'm not submitting," but 9 out of 10 will and want to. As a matter of fact, there's a lot of women. I've looked around here and seen a lot of women dressed like men that are able to get another woman to submit them. They dress like men because it's the dominant one, and that woman is submitting to them. Because they convince them that I'm the dominant one, everything's gonna be okay, and this, that, and the other. So 9 out of 10 women want to be submissive, right? But they don't want you to drive them over the cliff. They know the experience is gonna be cool. They're like, yeah, let's do this. And that's how it works. And that's what men don't quite understand. They think, okay, and here's another thing. A man will hear a no and think, oh, that means something. That means something. She said no, that's fine. That don't mean anything about you. That means that she just said no. She might be testing you to see what you're gonna react, how you're gonna react to a no. It doesn't mean that you do anything about it. Like, for example, you say, no, I'm going to do what I wrote. No, that don't mean that you do anything other than just be you. I know it's nothing, okay? And you know what? Who can't accept no's? Women. Women can tell no. If you tell them no, that's what they like. Oh no, he just said no to me. Oh no, he said no to me. I'm in trouble. He said no. They don't hear.
Can I say something?
Go ahead, sure. Go ahead and say whatever you want to say.
Well, this is what I think. Okay, I think just like in a male and a woman relationship, that there's something in the Bible that it says that they should submit to one another, especially when it comes to sex. I think that's very important. Okay.
Okay. Wait. Hold on a second. Hold on. Where did you say that they should submit each other, especially when it comes to sex?
Well, I know they say they submit to each other. Okay. I'd have to look it up. Okay. But what I'm saying is this.
Sex, but yeah, go
ahead. But what I'm saying is this. I think that that's a very important thing because of the fact that if you really submit to each other when it comes to things like that, you see what I'm saying? You have a chance for a better relationship. I think if you deny each other when it comes to stuff like that, that basically your relationship is on the rocks anyways. So
okay, hold on. Before you go any further, I'm gonna I'm not gonna say that else after this. What's amazing to me is I hear people say this, right? And they'll say, for example, they'll tell people their age. They say, "Oh, I'm so and so, such and such and such." In your case, you're how old?
Me? I'm 68.
Yeah. Okay, they say 68. I'm 68, whatever. And you know what? And every time I hear that a person is saying certain things, let's say, for example, let's say they're 50. Or let's say they're 55. Let's say they're 60. They say, I'm 60 years old, and they start talking about sex. And I'm like saying, I doubt if this fool can even have sex. He's 60 years old. Because most people I know 60 years old can't even have sex. I'm going to keep it real. Most people I know 60 years old like that, I can't even have sex. I'm going to be talking about it. You don't even can't have sex, but can't do nothing. That's what kills me about this. People talking about, I'm not talking about you now. I'm not about you. I'm talking about people.
No. I have to tell you. I have to tell you something, okay?
You gotta tell me that.
I'm very equipped when it comes to that. I'm very equipped. I'm very equipped. I'm very equipped. But hey, let me read something to you. Let me read something to you right here. It says, The primary Bible verse directing wives to submit to their husbands is Ephesians 5:22. Wives, submit to your own husbands as to the Lord. This passage is part of bordered biblical framework that reshapes how partners view marriage and mutual respect. Okay. So
okay, well, we read that. The first thing I said was we're going to go to Ephesians 22. So we read that, but it never said anything that you need to be saying. They need to have sex. That's what I said.
Well, what I'm saying is, I probably equate that. Because just like one of the relationships that I had, the longest relationship that I had in my life, okay, was with Doris Dietra Bryant. She never once turned me down for sex. Not once. Not ever. Okay. The longest relationship that I've ever been in was 9.5 years. Okay. And I'm going to tell you, it was one of the keys to us staying together that long. If she would have been somebody that's like, no, I got a headache, then I don't think it would have lasted that long. But that was one of the key factors that really helped us stay together. I have to say that. So I just wanted to interject as far as on a life experience. Huh? Nicole?
If she had, yeah, you can't hear me. You can't hear me.
I can
hear you perfect.
Okay, but I have my computer's kind of weak. Okay, but if she would have turned me down, no, it wouldn't have lasted as long. Huh?
Well, that sounds like who don't have like self-control, almost like a sexual abuser. Can't be turned down.
No.
Why not?
No. Yeah. I mean, you have to understand that when two people care about each other, that's a very important thing. See what I'm saying? That's a very important thing. And I mean, we didn't stay together, as you know, she left. But I'm saying though that we wouldn't have been together that long, okay, if she would have been somebody that was turning me down for sex all the time. But she never did, okay? And that was one of the things that I have to.
Have you had somebody who turned you down? Okay. Somebody you were with that turned you down for sex a lot. Has that happened?
Not really, but they would turn me down sometimes, but she never did though. But I mean, I wouldn't be with a woman if she's like, if I want to have sex and she's like saying no all the time or a lot, I'd be like, okay, well, I got to go to the ones that's going to be saying yes, because I'm not fixing to deal with sexual frustration and different things like that. See what I'm saying? Sex is a very important part of a relationship. I'm not going to be dealing with sexual frustration.
Here's where, men that, I mean, I'm not putting anything on you, sir. I'm just saying men in general that say, oh, because she said no, I should feel a certain kind of way. Because she said no, then she shouldn't mean anything. I said, she said no. That's fine. It's not like, that verbiage. No, it's supposed to disrupt anything that you're doing. There's certain rules. This is the reason why I don't understand. I say it all the time. I say men shouldn't be having women because they don't know nothing about women. Yeah, I don't know why men would even have women because they don't know nothing about a woman. They got all these people out here. I got a woman. I want a woman, but don't know nothing about a woman, right? Yeah, right. So here's the main thing. I keep telling myself, I'm not telling this information for free. Anybody paying me, and I'm not talking about it. But I'm gonna say this one thing, right? Because the most important thing right here is, you lead, right? And we talked about this earlier in conversation. And of course, you encourage your leadership. You encourage your leadership. I'm leading you. Don't worry, I got you. Don't worry about this. I encourage you to keep following. And then you reward her when she does, and you refuse her when she don't. So as simple as that. And just like she said, I'm not giving you no sex. That's fine. You ain't gonna get something either, right? You gonna get treated right. You're gonna get respect. You're gonna get that. You're gonna get all that. But certain things you might not get either. And so these are the things that people don't quite understand. I don't quite understand how when it comes to men and women, a woman got thousands of more sensitive parts in her body than a man does. Yet it's always
I don't know what parts you're talking about, but but there's not too, in my opinion.
Well, hold on. Let me tell you the part I'm talking about. Let me tell you the part I'm talking about. It's called the clitoral area. Yeah, right, exactly. There's a G spot goes along with that. And men don't understand these things, right? They don't understand nothing about that kind of stuff. And if they did, things might be a little bit different. Where they might get a whole lot more yeses. They might be talking about, no, I'm a little tired. But we don't want to talk about all that. All we want to talk about is what we want to try to talk about is this not knowing about women. And if they did know about women, who cares? She says no. I mean, I personally don't care about, I don't very seldom, if I heard anybody tell me no, if I actually said the word I want. See, that's the key. Just having conversation means nothing. But if I say I want, that means I'm saying what I want. And then that's when you can say, yeah, you can indict me. Yeah, you said you want it. Okay, until that comes out, then but that doesn't happen too often. But if it does, and I hear, I'm not worried about it. Not me. Not at all. Not worried about it at all. But I'm just saying that's just me, because I don't.
Well, I would think if you're in a relationship with somebody, you like them, they like you, you love them, and they love you, whatever. It's not too often that anybody's saying no. So if they're saying no, they probably got a
Okay. Well, that explains it right there. All right. She liked me then. That's good.
Right.
Thank you.
Right. Well, listen. People have to understand that there's certain things that people like. I try to tell men, especially, man, that woman don't love you. Unless she's in love with me, man, she don't love you, brother. She think she loves you. She loves the feeling that you give her. Okay, that's what she loves. Whatever feeling that you give her, she's in love with that. She's in love with the feeling that you give her. Okay. So you stop giving that feeling, whatever it is, security or whatever it might be, then things might be a little bit different. Or she loves that you love you more than you love her. I mean, it's a lot of factors that go along in this stuff. You see, but the point is that that's basically what individuals. That's why I say these individuals, men especially, need to take a course on how to, if they got a woman, on how to deal with them, because yeah. I mean, look. And then you got to be worried about this. Okay, so if I decide to, in my case, I decide, what, I'm getting tired of you. You ain't doing what you need to be doing, so I'm gonna take off. You need to separate this. Yeah, you get in trouble for that. You get in trouble for that. It depends on what kind of woman you're dealing with. You can get in trouble for that too. So you can get in trouble for if you want to leave. Pardon me?
How you get in trouble?
I didn't hear you. How you get in trouble? Well, you get in trouble by her saying certain things that happened that didn't happen. They have you, because these days they got the courts system. It depends on who you are too. They want to go after you. I became a Johnny Cochran for myself because the situation needed to be that way, because I'm like getting accused of stuff that I never did. Yeah. You think, well, I ain't do that. That's what you talking about. But it depends on who it is and who you are. You can't get in trouble. A woman can't get you in some trouble. Yeah, it can't get you in trouble. And so that's what you get to factor into. When you factor these things into everything and the realization of how it is, then you either go, whatever doesn't kill you only makes you strong. And I can promise you that. Whatever don't kill you only makes you stronger. So this here thing about women, I don't quite understand how it is that a man can sit around talking about, if she don't give me that, we're gonna have a problem. We're gonna have a problem. And she says she don't want. She don't want. She says no, it's cool. You got women who put on tight clothes, revealing everything. I tell guys this: why you don't tell her about the clothes? Don't worry about what she put on. If she walks out of there in a G-string, don't trip. What you do is you get your best suit on. You get your, wash your face in your best cologne, put your finest suit on with shoes shining, make sure that car got bling on it, and give her a kiss and say, I'll be back. That's all you got to do. ain't gotta do that now. Why would you turn around? Oh, you should have G-string. You should be walking. You should tell her that. She knows better. She knows she should be doing that. But if that's what she decides to do, we just go ahead because see what a suit does for a man is the same thing what a G-spot does for a woman when it comes to me. I'm just telling you the truth. So that's what people need to understand. And
that's a lie. That's a lie. That's a lie.
Well, I tell you what,
you say that's a
lie.
lie.
Hold on a second. Now listen to this.
What did you say?
She wants all that is. This is the perfect example of what I'm talking about. Right. Women test men all the time. First thing she gonna come up here and say, that's a lie. And when it's the truth. And here's the truth is, the fact of the matter is the woman go out there wearing a G-string, she looks stupid as hell. Okay? Yes, it is. Yes, you do. You walk around with a G-string, she looks stupid as hell. Even the women will be looking at her like, girl, what are you doing? What are you doing walking around in a G-string? And
could I say this?
Saying the same thing.
How many men do say that? Ted, how many men is going to say, girl, what are you doing? Only to stop and talk to her. You already know women get more attention than men just off top, right?
Well,
a man in a suit looks nice, gets as much attention as a woman in anything.
I don't believe that's true. I don't believe that's true.
Let me say this. I don't know how it works with other people because I'm not somebody else. But with me, okay, I don't know if it's my charisma.
Your charisma.
I don't know if it's my charisma, but with me,
what is the first thing that you do so charismatic for these women to be just all over you? You know, what is the first thing that you do?
Me?
Yeah, you.
No. What it is that after I become involved with them, they don't even want to touch another man, and they'll tell me that. They'll say, "Why would you be concerned about this? I don't even want to touch another. I don't want to touch a man." I'm like, "Good," you know what I'm saying? And I don't know. It's should I say that it's an affection? It's an affection, and I find it honorable. See what I'm saying? And for me, it works out. And that's all I can say. It works out. But now. See where I'm at now, and I want you guys to make note of this because we'll be doing the Bible study and stuff. In a year from now, will I probably have a woman a year from now? Probably not, but I'll probably be having a lot of things going in the right direction that I want them to go in. But I mean, to me, I mean, women are beautiful, they're charming, some of them are intelligent. You know what I'm saying? They're good to be around. But, you know, I think that they have, just like what it says in Hosea 10:13, I think that they have too much faith in the might of multitude of man. I think that, and see, once they break away from that, you know what I'm saying, and wickedness and lies, then they find me overwhelmingly, you know what I'm saying, somebody that they want to be around. And I say, okay, that's fine. If you want to be around me, that's cool. But I'm doing some things now, see, where I'm moving in a direction that's being pretty promising, and I love it. I love it a lot, you know. And hey, I love this Bible study and us getting together and talking like this too. I think it's marvelous.
Okay.
That way, people get to know how I am too. Okay.
You get to know how you are.
So Nicole, yeah, they know how I am. If they watch this, they'll know how I am. See, just like by watching this, just like I kind of know how Nicole is. By watching this, I kind of know how you are. By watching this, if they watching me, they'll know how I am. That's a person in on how we really are.
I'm gonna say this. This show, this is from my perspective, does not, you know, people hear what I say, but they don't know how I am. Okay, yeah, because they don't know anything about me. Listen, they don't know if I have feet or don't have feet, hands, but they can say I got hands. They don't know from the waist on down what I look like. They don't know how tall I am. They don't know what I'm gonna say. This and that. They don't know what's happening in this conversation. But what people do know is from this conversation what I say and what I say, right?
Right.
Yeah, what I say, and what I say is I don't believe that women want to be the leaders. 9 out of 10 women do not want to be the leader in their relationships. Okay,
I agree.
they're not going. If they're going to be in a relationship, they do not want to be. They don't need that responsibility to say, "I'm taking the lead and navigating this ship." Okay, everything is fine, and just make sure that I get some comfort along the way. Doesn't necessarily mean having no sex. Don't mean to have some sex. It could be a meal. It could be a lot of different things. Through this process, and that's it. And I mean, I don't understand. It's not that difficult to understand that part. And so that means it is what it is. And I mean, I don't. Here's what people don't quite get. If there was lawlessness, there was no law and order, and everything was designed for the strong to survive, that woman would want to be with the strongest man because she knows that is what's going to protect her, the strongest man. Yeah, she don't want the weakest guy because the weakest guy can't take care of her in a lawless society. But under this current society in which it is, it's a design that you ain't gotta be the strongest guy, right? You ain't gotta be the strongest guy. You just gotta be a guy that can make some money to be able to keep somebody house. That's it. It's all about if you can make money, you can get some dollars. And so that's it right there, and that's not a problem. I mean, listen, if you can get you a man can get a place to dwell in, get 2-3 cars, wear nice clothes and look good, making sure that, let me hit another thing, right? You go to the gym, right? You go to the gym, walk inside the gym. You go to the gym. I'm talking about the gym. I have guys talking about, you can't talk to nobody in here. They're working out. You can't talk to nobody. You can't talk to work. You can't talk to nobody in here because you're working out. Oh, you can't talk about nobody. You can't talk to nobody when you're working out, right? But there's a thing about going into the gym. The man that walks into the gym has to have something impeccably clean. And what do you think that would be? I'm asking you, King New Shoes. Yeah.
You have to have something that's impeccably clean.
Yes, exactly.
You say, I would say his hands.
Okay, that's a good one. Hands is good. That would be the second thing. The first thing is that's not the first thing. Okay, so do you want to chime in, Nicole Bolton, or you want me to just go ahead and say what it is?
I didn't hear the question.
The question is, if a man wants to go in, he goes to the gym. He goes inside the gym, right? Mm-hmm. And he has to have something impeccably clean. The number one thing he should have clean, what do you think? What do you think it should be? Going into the gym now, what do you think it should be? Say it again.
Shoes.
Yeah, exactly. That's the number one thing. His shoes.
Did you hear me?
Right. Yeah. That's right. A woman would say that, right? A man wouldn't say that, but a man would say hands, but a woman would say shoes. Right. You see, because women look at men's shoes. It's something about shoes that women like pay attention to. Yeah. See, and so the man
even get that statistic.
Oh, that's okay, Nicole. That's okay. You do your research, but you got it right. You got it right. It'll be the shoes, right? You walk around in some shoes. I didn't make it up. I didn't make it up. See, this is what people need to understand. Men walk in there. Listen, I do this, right? I walk into the gym just recently with some toe-up shoes. I wanted to do a little experiment. I got some toe-up shoes. I approached this woman who's always talking to me, right? I approached her. said, "What's up?" You know, and I said, I guess you don't like friends, because you keep talking about you follow me on Facebook. I guess you don't like friends. I had my shoes on, and I had my shoes down there by her mat, and she pointed down to me about my shoes on her mat. Yeah. I said, "Oh yeah, see, it's the shoes, Yeah, you got to make sure." So I said, "Yeah, see, it's the shoes. You got to make sure these shoes are super clean. When you walk in there with them super clean shoes on, walking around, first thing they know, oh, look at his tennis shoes. His shoes are nice, Nikes or whatever, right? It's the shoes. So that's why I tell the guys, when you go out, first thing you make sure you got the fish shine on them shoes. Had that suit on, fish shine on them shoes, make it look look good. You walk out there with them shoes on. They can be like, "Oh, this dude, look at them shoes. His shoes is cool." And then of course they smile and everything else that go along with it. And of course other things factor into all this stuff, which I ain't telling on the show today. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, just like I'm 68 years old now, right?
We know. We said it about 1,000 times. We know.
Okay. So now I think that there's a younger generation, okay, that their value system may be somewhat different than the value system that was going on when I was growing up, okay? And that plays into any relationship factors, okay? Now, as far as things...
Before you go any further, I mean, because you said value system. I want to know personally, we're usually talking about value system. I don't understand what values mean. I understand what systems mean. But when you say that, when you correlate that with environment, I get that. When you say, oh, the environment in which they were brought up in, it's a little bit different. I get that part. But when you say, people want peace, right? I don't care if you can have the hardest woman or hardest whatever, she's still gonna want to have a peaceful environment. She don't want to fight all the time. She don't want conflict all the time. But if she does she want to make sure the man she's with is stronger than her, right? Yeah, she want to make sure the man is stronger than her. I have women walking over to me and tell me, "Well, Ted, you got to know how to handle me." I said, "What are you talking about?" "Yeah, you got to know how to handle me." I said, "I think I already know how to handle you. You ain't got to tell me about how to handle you." Right? Yeah, they actually gonna say how they want to be handled, right? So guess what she did? Guess what she does? You will never guess what she did. You never guess what she did. You can tell what she did? She threw a three-piece combination at me. Bang, bang, bang. Three-piece combination. Bang, bang, bang. That's exactly what I did. Yeah, bang, bang, bang. You know what I did? And bop. Yeah, that's exactly what happened. Okay, yeah. That's what you want. Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm just telling you, that's what happened. I'm just telling you.
I don't get into that type of stuff. I don't get it. I praise God. I don't get into that.
I don't either. But it's like what I'm saying. You figure like, you got to know how to handle. What are you talking about? Got to know how to handle. And then all of a sudden, what the heck happened? That's what happened. That's what happened.
I stay away from that. I stay away from that type of stuff. No violence. No violence.
That's it, and that's exactly how it should be. But right, you don't hit first, right? You can't protect yourself. I'm just saying, you can't protect yourself. Yeah, you don't throw the first punch, but that's what she did. Bang, 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 and pop. Yeah. After that, everything was cool. No problem. I'm just saying that these are the things that people will test you. They'll test you to the nth degree. And if you don't pass the test, next thing you know, you might get stabbed or shot. You just never know. So I'm just telling you how things work. Okay. And so that means that's environment, is what I'm trying to say. That's environment. Right? It's environment. This woman was 50 years old. She wasn't no youngster. I mean, she was in shape because she's walking all over the place. I seen her at the laundromat once, right? She goes into the bathroom and laundromat. This is right here on Mac Road. She goes to the bathroom in the laundromat. I looked at her, right? I said, "It looks like that's old girl over there, And then she goes, and then some dude goes in the bathroom too. I said, "Whoa, this dude just walked in the bathroom with the lady." And then guess what you heard after that? somebody was getting told. Somebody was getting told. Oh, so you hear this, B, don't you ever put your hands on me again, B. That dude read about that dude read about that bathroom. I said, whoa. And then, now listen, I'm over here on Mac Road. I'm over here on on Meadowview, no, Amherst. I'm over Amherst in front of the church. I see her walking by again. She walking to a truck full of Mexicans. Jump out the car. Two Mexicans, big Mexican will walk over there and start throwing hands on. Man, she was tearing up. Yeah, same woman. So she told me, "You don't know how to handle me, Ted." I said, "Okay," and then you see, you got to know how to do it. See, you got in a certain kind of way you got to do things. And I'm just saying, she's a rough rider, so I'm just letting you know. Yeah, I ain't doing it.
I mean,
thank you so much.
It's different things for different ones. Like me, you know what I'm saying? I avoid those type of situations because I don't want to partake in something like that. You know what I'm saying? If I see a woman and I see that's her get down, you see what I'm saying? I'm like, well, you go ahead with your get down, you know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna have to go ahead with my get down, but my get down is gonna be to where I'm not gonna be into, you know what I'm saying, into the rough stuff. You know, none of the rough stuff. I'm not into that. You know what I'm saying? I like it nice and easy.
I don't subscribe to that type of behavior myself. But we're talking about relationships.
It doesn't sound like it. Well, it doesn't sound like it just now.
You describe how it sounds and how it is are two different things, right? Because how it sounds and how it is first and foremost, I'm allowed to protect myself. Yeah, I'm allowed to protect myself. And of course, she didn't call the police because what happened was about maybe, I would say 30 seconds later, somebody knocked on the door. Knock. Is everything all right in there? And I said, yeah, everything is cool. They called by somebody by name. I said, that ain't me. But yeah, everything is cool. I mean, ain't no problem. And wasn't no problem. Everything was cool after that. But I'm just saying that the situation is never changed since the beginning of time. Man does not shouldn't want to be like, okay, baby, you lead us, you lead us everywhere. If she only damn like said, what you talking about? I don't feel like that's not what I'm supposed to be doing. You're supposed to be leading us. You know what I mean? I'm supposed to make sure that you're comfortable and everything, prop you up, making sure we're good. So while you lead us, everything will be fine. Like for example, if a woman says she wants a mechanic to take a look at her car, if she got to do, she gonna say, look, go over there and have to talk to the dude about my car. So so they don't take advantage of me. And that's basically how it comes down to. What it comes down to. So listen, I don't know what else to tell you except for it looks awfully bad for a man if he's walking around and every woman that passes him by look at him and jumps on him and beats him up in front of his woman. I don't look good. She'll be like saying, man, he can't protect me. Yeah, she the third woman that jumped on him and beat him up this week. Come on, man. That's not what she wants. She don't want that. So when we put it in perspective, she has an expectation. Women generally have an expectation, and the expectation is if I put my hands on you, I expect for you to let me have it. That's it. I mean, that's it.
Well, I mean, I'm like this. I mean, I hear what you're saying. I avoid those type of interactions because you know what I'm saying. I'm not somebody that I don't want to entertain that type of an environment, and I'm not being judgmental, but sometimes we manifest the situations that go on around us to an amount. Okay, like I look at Donald Trump's situation. Here it is. You go to some place where Donald Trump is at, you're liable to be somebody that witnesses a shooting, or you're liable to have to run from a crowd of people trying to stampede to get away from a shooting or something like that. So me, if they say, hey, we want you to come to this gathering and Donald Trump is going to be there, I would say I have to decline that invitation because I don't want to be in a dramatic situation. I don't want it to turn all ghetto and I have to run or anything like that. I would rather not be in that situation because there's been too many people that's attempted to assassinate him or stir stuff up around him. And I don't want to be in that environment. But now that I've seen that that's what's going on, I can make that type of judgment call. But now I would stay away from that type of a situation. But some people say, man, I'd be honored to be anywhere where the president is at. I say, well, that's you. I'm not going to go there because I'm not going to have to run for my life or to try to guard myself from any type of an assault or somebody else being assaulted in that area. I would stay away from it. 3, 4, 5.
Right.
But I mean, it's a conscious choice that we make. You see what I'm saying? It's a conscious choice that we make. Now, me, if I'm going to be around some women that's into, let's say, doing stuff, if it's violence, I'm going to go to the top of the hill. I'm going to go to women that actually spar and box. I'm going to go to them and say, look, I might want to retain your services to be my bodyguard, but I'm not going to retain your services to come and cause me any problems. But I mean, you know, here it is. I don't really be in a lot of environments like that. I mean, sometimes it might pop up. I try to make a phone call and say, hey, look, get over here and take care of the situation. Cause I'm not going to be in a whole bunch of, you know what I'm saying, drama and violence and stuff like that. I try to stay away from that.
Well, that's a good thing. It's a good thing. That's a good thing that, you know, to stay away from all type of violence. But like I said, most women that I know do not want a weak man, and they will test you.
Okay.
And they're going to test you to see how strong you are, not just physically, but mentally as well. Right. Yeah. Before they decide that, you know what, I'm taking all my clothes off in front of him, I'm going to make sure he's strong enough to take care of his business. Right. Yeah. And that's basically how it works. It's been that way since the beginning of time, and it will be that way till the end of time when it comes to men and women. And that's just the bottom line. And so, you know, I hear what you're saying. That's fine. It's not a good thing to be engaged in physical altercations at all, period. However, you got women who will test you, and they will test you to see how strong your mental as well as your physical is. And if you don't pass the test, they will find somebody who will. Or if they allow you to be around them for so long, that feeling, like I said, that feeling that they love is going to say, he never gave me that feeling. I've never got it from this guy. And so, time for me to move on. Something like that, you know, or I'm bored of this person, or I don't want to be, you know, and that's just bottom line. That's how it works. You know, bottom how it works, you know. So listen, if you're constantly a man who's going to keep improving himself each and every day, and she's looking at that everyday improvement, she's going to be like saying, I the feeling he gives me about the way he's trying to improve himself, I want every single day. Every time I see him, I like what I see, you know. Yeah, you know, and that's it, you know, and that's the bottom line. See? And that's just part of the leadership principle. Now I hear you what you're saying, you know, but if, like, for example, if you're not physically, you know, like, for example, if you're not physically fit enough to protect yourself, I'm not saying that you are or not. But the point is that you want no confrontation, especially if you can't. You know, she can whip your ass. See, my friend, I shouldn't say it like that. But if she can whip you, if she can actually whip you, well, that's a whole different story. You know, that's a whole different story. She looking at you a little bit different. I can whip him. You know what I mean? You know, maybe she respects you, she won't. But the point is that, you know, what you need to do is you need to find a certain person that's not with that at all. Go to church. Yes, to get out that, you know, put them, you know, get that, you know, whatever you're doing, get out the way. So you can go ahead and focus on a regular type of environment where it's safe and secure, because the people that you're around are safe and secure. I mean, that's it. Yeah. So that's, you know, I mean,
well, that's, you know what I'm saying? I do try to put myself in a civil environment. Okay, I mean, all the ghetto stuff and all the rough stuff and stuff, I'll tell them straight away and say, hey, I'm not into the violence. I'm not into the rough stuff. You know what I'm saying? I'm not into that. I mean, But I mean, if some people are, you see what I'm saying?
Well, listen,
And if they come up with some of that stuff, like I say, I get on the phone and say, "Hey, come over here and deal with the situation," because I'm not fixing to.
I don't know anything about your situation. I just want to know what you said. And basically, what you're saying is that women find you attractive. Okay, that's the point is that you know, most women, okay, find something about a man that makes them feel attracted to him. Okay, a little bit different than saying like, oh, I think he's attractive. There's something about him that makes them feel good. That feeling makes them attracted to him, right? Because I see a whole lot of women. Most women that I see got a man. I'm like, how do you get her? I mean, just how it is. How do you throw boy get her? But that's me. When I look at that and look at it from that perspective. Now I'm thinking, okay, well, there's another guy who may be a handsome guy. He is with a woman, but the same woman that he's with, I seen her last week with another dude. Okay, see, so I mean, it is what it is. I mean, I just know, I know what I'm talking about in this particular arena. Okay, and it is what it is. Okay, and so, but when we're talking about biblically, when we're talking about biblically, you have a biblical understanding. The understanding is a commitment, as to how we're gonna navigate this. It shouldn't be a problem. It shouldn't be a problem if you understand that. But once again, I don't know of any women personally that I know of that wants a weak man. Wants a man weaker than her. I'm gonna go out there and find the weakest man. I don't know that woman. What are you looking for?
Okay.
I'm looking for the weakest man. Who do you want to be with? I want to be with the weakest man. You do? That's the one I'm looking for. I'm looking for the weakest man. I don't know.
Let me chime in for a second. Okay, just like I see a lot of females with males, and all of them the males aren't big bodybuilders and boxers and different things like that. Some of them are just regular guys, okay? But she's happy with that.
Well, he can be strong-minded. He can be strong-minded. He don't have to be physically strong.
I mean, that may be the case. But I'm saying that, I look around and all of them aren't into some guy that's, physically all buffed and all, you know what I'm saying? There's different strokes for different folks. You know what I'm saying?
I'll say this to what you're saying. Most women do not approach me. They wait for them to be approached by me, right? Yeah, they sit around and they wait for the guy to walk up and approach. They don't generally walk up and approach a man and say, "Hey, look, I like you. You got muscles. I like muscles." They don't do that. They wait for the man to walk up to him and talk to him. In most instances, it's the environment with their hands. They're approached by men who are not. Well, let's say put it this way: they're not imposing men. So in other words, they don't feel threatened because he's not that imposing of a guy. Let's say, for example, she got a girlfriend who got a brother, and he's very big, muscular type of guy. She says, "Well, I know his sister. So yeah, he can come. I want to talk to him." And all of a sudden, he's in that circle. Go ahead, man. What you gotta say?
Hey, Nicole, can you hear us? Nicole, can you hear us? Hello, Nicole.
Yeah.
I don't think you can hear. You can hear me? Okay, Nicole.
Yeah.
Now, if you find a guy attractive, okay, and you're in, huh? If you find a guy attractive, would you approach him and talk to him?
Probably not.
I says you probably wouldn't. If you found a guy attractive, and you were interested in him, you probably wouldn't approach him and talk to him. No?
No, probably not.
Why not?
If I was attracted to him, too shy to talk to him. I'd probably be nervous, like
you'd be too shy to talk to him. Okay. I didn't know that. Okay. All right. Thank you for that information. I didn't know. Okay. Thank you for that information. That's pretty insightful. I didn't know that.
No, I had nothing.
Okay, I wanted to get her opinion on it.
Oh, that's fine. I mean,
Okay.
you got it. You got
Let
everything.
me say this.
So most women,
Yeah.
I would probably talk to him, but I want.
Huh?
she would have conversation, but she wouldn't hit on it. She would say, "How you doing? Good to see you." Or something like that. Yeah. Excuse me. She was that. Yeah, excuse me. I'm just reaching for a napkin. Yeah, that's what she said. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I didn't know, but I mean, I learned something. Thank you.
Right. She wouldn't hit on it. Right.
Thank you.
She wouldn't do what a man would do. For example, a man wanted to talk to a woman. Very first thing he would do. What do you think it would? What do you think it would be? If you were talking to a woman and you want to talk to her, what would you do?
I'd say, "Hi, how are you?" You know what I'm saying? My name is Haji. What's your name? That's what I would do.
Okay. Yeah. Right. Yeah. You're right. And you think that would work?
Do I think it would work?
Yeah.
This way, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
I think for me, the guy that I thought was attractive, I wouldn't go over and talk to him because attraction, like just the physical attraction might, it wouldn't be enough to get me to go over there and talk to him. You know what I mean? See something about his personality that I would have to like on top of that to want to even interact with him at all. Does that make sense?
Okay, that makes sense.
Exactly right. Because I can,
more to just go over to a woman just because she looks good about other qualities about her. They don't be loud and or whatever her issue is. They don't care. If she looks good, they finna and shoot they shot. I don't know about women all in general, but with me, he could look good, but I have to see something in life.
Okay,
besides his look.
That helped me out a lot. But you say you might not go and talk to him, but you would hit on him. How would you go about hitting on him?
No, and I would not hit on him. I would not hit on him.
That's what she said. She would not hit on him. She would hit on him.
You would? Okay.
She would not hit on him.
Okay.
No.
Okay, cool. Okay.
Yeah, she would not hit on him. That's what she said. She look over there and she said, "I ain't hit on the dude." That's what most women would say. Most women say, "Okay, he look good.
But
He
I
look
would
this
talk
and
to him and not hit on him.
Yeah,
you would talk to him and not hit on him. I don't know. I think okay. I think he probably think he did hit on him, probably, but I don't know.
Well, I mean, yeah,
cool.
It's
cool. That's really insightful. That's really insightful.
Exactly. Right.
Because I mean,
it don't take much for a man to think you're hitting on him anyway. All you gotta do is give him eye contact, and he automatically thinks you're hitting. So it doesn't even take anything for a man to go from here to there. So
I like assertive. I like women that are assertive. I like them somewhat aggressive. I do. I mean, personally, I mean, and for me, it works out better if they're a little bit aggressive. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, that's just the way I am. I'm working on some other stuff now, so I'm not trying to. If they were hitting on me, I probably wouldn't know it, but because I'm working on other stuff. But I like for them to be assertive. I like for them to be aggressive. I like for them to let me know, you know what I'm saying, that they're interested in me. But, I mean, that's just me. That's just the way I am. But right now, I think I have plenty of time for that because I'm working on some other stuff right now. The stuff I'm working on now will be to where, hey, I'll be a better suitor for them. It'll be to where if we do get together, it's like, okay, I don't have to worry about my provisions. I already know that I'll be provided for, different things like that. I want to be a good provider. So I'm working on that part of it. But I mean, I got plenty of time. I'm just taking it slow right now. I'm starting to taste freedom. I'm starting to taste a little bit of freedom, and freedom feels good. Yeah. So, hey, Ted, I'm going to go ahead because it's almost 4 o'clock, right?
Yeah. We're going to shut it down in less than a minute.
Okay. You want to pray us out? Or you want?
Heavenly Father, thanks again for another opportunity to come to you and listen to your word and have a discussion regarding the relationship aspect of things and commitment aspect of things. And hopefully this will help somebody out that's listening to the show. Thank you for watching, listeners. Don't forget to go to AMI and other platforms like YouTube. What is it? Twitch, Facebook, other places where you can come and see our content. Once again, well, thank you, Heavenly Father, for everything you do for us. And this we pray through all your prophets and saints. And for those who believe Jesus is God, through Jesus. Amen. All right. Thank
Praise
you all.
Jesus. Praise God.
We'll see you all next one. And
okay, much love. Okay, be good and have a good day.